This is something which is quite enjoyable for beginners. I've already wedged my clay, and I've shown you how to do that in another video. So if you haven't wedged your clay prior to watching this video, be sure to watch the video on wedging clay, because wedging removes air bubbles in clay, and as you know, air bubbles cause our clay to explode. So as you can see, I've started already by beginning to form my pinch spot into a ball. You can roll it any way you can make the clay into a ball. Some people like to roll it on the table as they did Play-Doh. I like to use the making meatball method. Basically what I do is I grasp the clay like so, throw it into the other hand, release, grasp, throw, release, throw, and just kind of make it into a nice ball. There we are. This is called a sphere. A sphere is a form. A form has 3 dimensions: width, depth, and height. Okay, now I'm going to take my thumb and I'm going to push it into the pinch pot. I'm squeezing the sides of the clay with my thumb and fingers, like so. Now, I know you're going to ask me, well, how do I know how thick to make the bottom of the pot? Well, what you do is you sort of pinch the walls of the clay. These are called the walls, the side of the clay. Sort of pinch it together and kind of guesstimate the thickness through your perception of touch. One of the biggest mistakes that beginning ceramic hand builders have to make is to make the bottom too fat. Now, I've shown my students how to make sure the bottom's not too fat, and that's by making crab claws, like so. So basically, you put your hands in the crab claw position, and you squeeze the bottom of the piece. And it works super duper well. And every time I've shown an elementary or middle school student this method, it has worked. Okay, so I've got my basic pinch pot rolled out here and formed. Now you notice there's some cracks in here. We can remove those cracks by smoothing. You always want to smooth in one direction, because if you smooth in 2 directions, it's almost like you're making a mini earthquake. Imagine 2 of the Earth's plates moving back and forth like this. They're going to split, and it's going to make a fissure, or a fissure is also known as a line or a crack in the Earth's surface. And the same happens with clay, because clay comes from the Earth. Okay, very cool. Now, we can smooth this way a bit, just the major cracks. One of my other tricks is to take the piece and lightly cup it and gently tap onto the board. Then you can figure out where your clay is too thick and too thin. As you can see, this is a really nice thinness. That's about the thickness you want your wall to be. So I'm going to pinch these out just a little bit till they're about the same thickness. Okay? Alrighty, not too bad. Okay, and then I also like to make sure it's level. Go ahead. Okay, go ahead and tap it onto the board and make it level again. Now, the edges are pretty much similar. to one another. Alright, I'm liking this. Okay, next thing we want to do is make a bottom. Lightly tap it so it lies flat. Okay, and I forgot to bring my water over here. Here's my water. You'll want to always have water and a ceramic sponge. We like it to be really squeezed out so hardly any drops come out. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take my piece, hold it in my hand. Notice the nice smooth edges. We've got a flat edge here and here. And I'll show you how to use that later on when we're glazing. Wet the piece just a little bit. Don't count on the sponge to do all of your smoothing, because this flexible sponge does not have the force of your fingertips. Now I'm smoothing the clay in one direction. Wherever you're pressing on the clay, like I am pressing here with my finger, I'm supporting it on the opposite side with my thumb. The reason I do that is it helps prevent deformation of the clay. You don't want to deform it because we're making a form. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to incise a pinch pot.